Hello, and welcome everybody to the Zombies Love Bacon podcast, episode 15, getting recorded on a lazy Sunday. We're definitely the type of people that does their homework the night before they're due, but we're here nevertheless, and we're joined by Shelby.
What up? I got string cheese.
And ex-Pratz is also here.
Hello.
And also Norsa.
What do you call a cow with no legs? Haha, ground beef. But seriously, don't call it. It won't come.
Interesting.
Wow, look when you sitting on that one, you were ready.
Yeah. It's like I keep getting recommended these TikToks of like people like playing Minecraft and the person just keeps telling terrible jokes. Every time I hear it, I think, Norsa.
What? There's nothing wrong with my jokes.
Ground beef. That's the ultimate dad joke.
Whenever you make jokes like that, I think maybe that there's someone somewhere, a woman, who's gotten pregnant and you don't know about it yet.
Somewhere.
But you've just started to become a dad, you know?
You know, I actually made a statement at work earlier, and I was like, one time I was in the woods and I jerked off, and I was like, I wonder if it rained the next day, and then like if a baby grew from the soil.
What?
Organic. I like it.
Yeah.
All right,
Locally
today's
sourced?
podcast topic is a detailed description on how babies are made.
If a man wanks
can you spray tan a baby?
I mean, I've watched Toddlers and Tiaras. They definitely
Wait. Go back a step because this is a question that was presented in a freaking what's that show? What's the Trash Man show? Sunny in Philadelphia. They actually asked that question: can you spray tan a baby? Except they didn't want to spray tan it; they wanted to put it in a tanning bed because
That show is something else.
because they found a baby in the dumpster and they wanted to make it famous so they could like get it modeling work. But white babies are too popular, so they wanted to make him a little colored.
What?
that
God.
show, I cannot believe it is still on air.
It's so out there, but at the same time, it's like someone would fucking do that. And like here we are. You just asked the question: can you tan a baby? So you're halfway there. All right, this is my point. Fuck it, that show kills me. Like it's just.
I feel like
It's a great show.
if you spray a baby with a spray can, it's fine. But if you chuck it in one of those like bed things, I don't think it's fine.
So this is gonna be a callback to what, like episode 3, where we don't hotbox babies.
Don't
I
spray tan
wasn't
them
in
either.
that episode, so
You weren't in that episode? Who did
I
that
was
episode
not.
then? Who do we blame?
You
It's
and
me,
Norsa and
Frog.
Frog and Pratz,
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm seeing a pattern.
It was all
I
boys.
was Jelly, Frog, and Norsa.
Wasn't that the one where Jelly fell asleep?
Yes. I was in the other room, by the way, and I just had to hear half the conversation going on because I could only hear what ilati was saying. And I was in the bedroom. I was just like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Welcome to the podcast. This is what it's all about. Seriously though, it's don't tan your babies. That's weird. It's very
What if
The
you-
people-
Illegal.
The people on Toddlers and Tiaras do it all the time.
That show's
What if-
weird. That show
That
makes
show
me
is-
physically uncomfortable.
It makes me uncomfortable too, but it's like when a train is crashing and I can't not watch it.
I mean,
It's like,
I think like a train crashing is probably better.
yeah, well, I don't watch
Wait.
it anymore, but like when clips used to come up on YouTube because I was on like reality show binges, and I used to like, oh man, I have to see this because that looks awful, and you know, just kind of hate watching it.
Hate watching.
It's really bad. Yeah, I got a trophy as a pageant baby.
You're a pageant baby.
I did one pageant. I was not really a baby in it though. I was like a slightly older child, but I still got a trophy. But I'm pretty sure we got a trophy because we complained we didn't get anything.
Oh, so it's a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one of those. It doesn't count.
Look,
You probably
I wasn't
started the
a cute
trend.
baby.
You're probably one of the people that started it. So now everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah, that's me. I am the Human Participation Award.
You know what?
Good or a
Here's a
bad thing?
genuine question for the cast of the podcast. Does anyone here have like legitimate trophies, like has dominated and won something and got a trophy?
Yes.
What in?
What?
I used to be really good at NRL and soccer. And
But you don't go
received-
outside.
That's the thing. I did go
Yeah.
outside
What
for a
happened?
portion of my
What
life.
happened?
Sporting
life
injury?
happened.
Retired early?
You good? Do we need to send
How
you-
old were you to get the trophy, roughly?
I believe I was around the age of 15 to 16.
Rats went outside.
He got trophies for it. He was an
I went
athlete.
outside once. The graphics
I
are
used
cool,
to
but
play
the
a lot of
storyline
sport.
sucked.
Have you got any trophies, Norsa?
No.
I've got.
I didn't play sports as a kid.
I
Not
was
like
a I was
in
a
leagues
theater
at
kid,
least.
so
If you would, what sport would you have played?
Me?
Yeah.
Tennis.
Football and maybe basketball, but I was just played with my friends.
You would
and
have been
eventually
alright at
played on
football, wouldn't you?
teams.
you're built like a footballer, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that requires like consistent like physical work. I like
Yeah.
to do my physical work on my own terms.
I was just
Alright.
thinking though, I didn't get any trophies, but my team's got pennants, which is like the big ribbon, the big triangular ribbons that you used to get in like primary school and high school.
Yeah, but so what does that mean? First, second, third, participation, wooden spoon.
Like runner up, I think. I think only the first place got trophies in these competitions.
Okay.
I did netball and softball.
Yeah,
I
right.
was on the track team in high school, believe it or not.
Huh,
What?
really?
I did the field events though. I
Can't
didn't do the
imagine
running.
you
Yeah, I was
running.
gonna say, like, I did track,
Well-
but it was like shot put and discus and
Yeah, same. Like, I mean, we had to run for warm ups and stuff, but most of us was like strength training. We didn't actually have to do running.
yeah.
I was gonna
Used
high
to do
jump.
like 1, 2, and 800 meters.
Right
Back in
out for
high school.
wrestling, quit after 3 days.
I got a blue ribbon for high jumping once.
High jump scares me. Like I only had to do it 1 year, and I'm like, this thing's actually like
Landing
pretty
on the
fucking-
bar is not fun.
Just like the whole launch yourself as high as you can and trust that the map will save you is kind of
Just
like,
you yourself.
That's putting too much faith in gravity, to be honest.
yeah, right.
I wanted to try pole vaulting, but that wasn't an option.
Oh,
Jesus.
never mind.
I could never do gymnastics based off the fact that Final Destination.
Yeah,
If you've seen it, you know what I mean.
yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gymnastics was the thing that I hated. I hated gymnastics. Pole vault was always interesting, but then we see a couple pole snap videos, and you're like, "Nah, I'm good.
Nah, I'm
I'll
good."
stay down here."
Yeah, I'm too chunky. That
I
would
I'm
definitely
love-
the
work.
person
Yeah.
to watch a like air crash investigations video, then jump on a plane the next morning.
You know what? Another horrible thing to look up is like people that get hit by javelins. It's like, what the
Oh.
fuck?
Yeah.
And there was one, I think at the last Olympics, it was just one of the umpires. It just hit him, and the umpires just yoinked it out. It's like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is going on?
I mean, that could be a sport in itself, just spear hunting other people.
I mean, spearfishing.
I think that is
I
a
think that's
sport for
illegal.
Not
that's
me
what
gonna
definitely
search
do it.
javelin.
Pretty sure that's a plot of a
fail.
Van Damme movie.
Didn't Stone Cold Steve Austin do a
but-
movie like that called like The Condemned or something?
Yeah, that's
What
one.
the fuck was that
I
called?
There was one called
They were all trapped on an island.
yeah. I know the one you mean. There's one where it's just rich people hunt homeless people for sport. It's a Van Damme
I've seen
movie.
that.
I think it's Money Target or something like that.
So
That's
I
ridiculous.
Just YouTubed javelin fails, and the first two thumbnails are enough for me not to want to click on them.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like
This woman has a javelin through her foot, through her shoe.
they're insane sports. So
fuck?
people like oh, it's just track and field, whatever. They're insane sports. But yeah, I used to do really good at that. I was a shit runner. I was a good sprinter. Like I could sprint the shit out of anything. But it's like any more than 100 meters, and I'm out of air.
Yeah.
That's
It's like
basically me
my
now.
gas tank's only a little full. you know?
Yeah. But like, people were surprised at how fast I could move for 100 meters, and that was good. But I always got like, I never got first place, nothing like that. And in terms of sports and stuff, I played cricket pretty flat out. And we during like primary to high school, I was basically the team, like my class and mates and all that. We all played so much cricket that we were just undefeated, which was fantastic. And then when like school finished, and I went out and we joined what they call C grade. So there's A grade cricket, which is obviously, on par with decent proper cricket, and people go on to play for proper clubs and stuff from there. Then there's B grade, which is like the ones that are getting a little bit unfit, and then there's C grade, which is it's like the starters, the rookies, and the people that just aren't going to make it. So I played C grade. Didn't win a single match. Got like so many injuries and horrible, and it's just it was a horrible time basically. But my mate who was playing, he played both C and B and was trying to get an A. He was a fast bowler, and when I say fast bowler, he was a very fast bowler to the point when no one would train against him, because when that ball hits you, because that ball's heavy and hard. If you ever play cricket, it's a hard fucking ball, right?
Yeah.
And if that comes at you at 80 to 100 kilometers an hour, it hits and it hurts. So like no one wanted to train. So then he convinced me to come to train just so he had someone to train with. And then I end up being like his punching bag / buddy. And that means that whenever he was bowling, I was wicketkeeper. Whenever he was batting, I was the other batsman. And I was just getting beat up constantly, either by his balls or having to be an opening batsman when you haven't played and you're totally unfit, and just people like the way sort of cricket works is, right, there's important protection wear, right? your gloves, you got your cup for your manhood, and you got your pads for your legs, right? And then there's all these optional ones. I had every optional pad. I was like the fucking juggernaut walking out to the middle of that ground because I did not want to die, and I still got fucked up completely. So then,
did you cup a few to the head?
Oh yeah, you wear a helmet. I definitely wore a helmet.
So
well, I remember they said that because I had a helmet, but I'm a poor person, so I had like a hand-me-down they found in the back shed, right? And they're like, it's still good, it's fine, right? And I'm like, it's a bit loose. You sure the ball won't like get through, between what is like there's a guard across the bottom of half of your face, and then obviously your vision's clear. And I'm like, is it not going to go? And I remember I copped a ball in the face, and it got jammed between the bottom bar and the top, and like an inch away from my eye. And I'm like, what the fuck, guys? I need a proper helmet. But yeah, so I ditched that because I wasn't going to win. We never won. I remember I was playing when I say bush league, I was playing some bush league where they put me right out in the wings, and there was freaking kangaroos with me, just sitting there waiting for a ball to come. And it was just, it was a horrible time. So then we switched. And I remember I said to my mates, I'm like, I'm going to start an indoor cricket team. And this will be a good way for us all to, keep in touch after school and everything else. And I rang all my mates, and I'm like, guys, you good at, my mates from high school. And I said, you guys good at cricket? And they're like, fuck no. I'm like, excellent. You're on the team. Let's go. And we ended up getting a team together. And I think the first match we played, we were -30 to their 200 and something. Because in indoor cricket, when you go out, when you get caught out or bowled out, you don't actually go out. They just deduct 5 points and leave you in there because you have to stay in for 2 overs, which meant we go into negatives when you're really bad at the game. And it was weird because I was their best player. So this is all right, this is a bit of a story here, but the way it sort of goes is we got shat on. So I'm like, all right, we need training. So we found this old oval which had cricket nets, and we'd train 3 nights a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'd go out 2-3 hours, basically, until it gets dark, train until we couldn't move anymore, go to McDonald's and cry about how unfit we are while we eat Big Macs, and then would play, and it was usually on a Friday night, and it was anywhere from 6 p.m. to like 10 p.m. at night. And then we got shat on constantly. Like, it just got destroyed. And I remember so I called my dad in, who used to play for like state-based clubs, to train us, and he gave us proper training and everything else. He's like, and we did the 3 nights a week. And then I remember this team rocked up, and they were called Unknown because they didn't even remember to name their team. They rocked up in a booze bus from the pub, and they could barely walk, and they shat on us, like beat us by over 100 runs. And I'm like, we're getting defeated by people that can't walk because they're so drunk, and we can't seem to get this right. And oh man, so everyone has to bowl and over, and everyone has to bat, so you have to train everyone and everything, right? So, but then there were some people that literally would bowl and it would just go wide, like very wide and slow. I'm like, how can you not throw a ball? We are struggling. So anyway, I was I was volunteering at a youth organization at the time, mentoring kids in, my thing was whole film and television. But part of that whole organization is that they put out a paper that gets distributed in the local paper every week. And we came up with this brilliant idea based on the antics of what was our cricket team, which was called the Siamese Dream Team, named after the Smashing Pumpkins album. And we ended up putting an article in the paper each week, which was like the diary of the worst indoor cricket team ever made. And it was hilarious because they kept, not only did we lose every week, they kept the stats on every single person. So there was one guy on our team who had made -500 runs, and when he was bowling, they had scored 3,500 runs off him.
Yikes.
So we started branching out from all these people that had read the article and like were friends of friends, and people would turn up. We actually had people turn up as like a crowd turn up to watch the game, which was like unheard of. No one ever bothered to turn up to watch these freaking games. It's just meant to be whatever. But these people were turning up to watch us because we were so bad and it was so funny and we'd do dumb shit all the time. And like it got to the point where there was times where like we just needed to run. So I'd be like, don't even bother trying to hit the ball. When they throw the ball at you, you just run. Just get us a point, a single point, please. So I'd be literally like yelling at them to coach them and everything else. And I remember we got this guy in who was an A-grade cricketer, and we're like, this guy's going to save us. And first ball, he injured himself and was out for 5 months. And I'm like, great, this is great.
What the fuck?
So at one point, we had so many injuries on our team that my dad had to play on the team when he was well and truly retired. He just wanted the coaches. And it was a whole thing. Anyway, we played 2 seasons and it got down. So there's a rule. The rules there's a couple rules that are a bit different to normal cricket. But the main rule is whatever happens on the last run is double. So if you go out, it's negative 10 points instead of 5. If you hit a 6, you get 14, that sort of thing, right? I remember we were playing this team, which I think it was unknown. I think it was unknown again, but they were sober this time. And we were finally neck and neck with them. Like it was equal pretty much the whole way through. We got down, they were batting last, got down to the final over, and I was bowling, and they were down by 4 with 2 balls to go. And I'm like, okay, we just need to stop them from hitting it on that last hit and getting anything that doubled, and we should be fine. And then they hit they hit a 4, so then we'll even. And comes down to the last ball. I'm like, fuck, even if he runs, he gets 2 points and they win. So and I just threw the ball, and he just ran through the ball and made the 1 run, and we lost by fucking 1 single run, basically. And that was how the season ended. I'm like, this is bullshit. But we got so much fucking kudos from being in the paper and shit like that they kept on asking us to come back for other seasons. I'm like, I'm sick of losing, you know? Anyway, fast forward 2 years. I get a phone call from my mate. He's like, oh, I heard you coming into town. He's like, we started a new cricket team as a spiritual successor to the old one. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, we've even won a game. I'm like, that's nuts. He's like, yeah, but we're a person short. So do you want to come play for us? I'm like, yeah, I'm a little bit out of shape, but sure, I could do this. So I rocked up. So it was a shorter version of the game in the sense that you play with 6 players instead of 8. But it means that instead of going out for 2 overs, you go out for 4, which means that my fitness level needs to be more than it was. And it's definitely not more. It's a lot less. But that's fine. I'm like, I'm going to fucking win. I'm going to win this fucking game. Anyway, so I go in. I was fielding what they call silly point, which is 3 meters away from the guy who's going to hit you with the bat. Right? The idea is if he hits it, it's a bit off the edge of the bat or something, you'll catch it. Hits it off the edge of the bat, bounces off the net, and I dive. I fair income dive to catch it. In the process of diving to catch it, my pants come off. But I catch the ball, right? I catch the ball, I dive, my pants are off, everyone can see my jocks, it's fine. The fucking umpire goes, nah, I touched the ground first. And I'm like, oh, mate, the commitment's there. I fucking caught it. And he's like, no, I touched the ground. And I'm like, fucking hell. Anyway, it gets to the end of the fielding time, and I go out in the net, and I sit down, and I'm like, fucking hell, my foot hurts so much. And I go down to press down on my foot, and it's wet. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, no.
I take my sock off, and I'd ripped my big toe while I dived off.
Yikes.
And I ripped it entirely off. It was gone. And my
Wait, you ripped off your big toe or your toenail? What?
Like the toenail. Not the toe. The entire.
I'm pretty sure I've seen your feet. And I was,
well, anyway, you definitely didn't see it after this because it was grotesque. And if you've ever ripped a nail off of anything, it grows back grotesque as well. That's why I had ingrown toenails and had to get them all fixed as well. Because there's one fucking game and there's one catch that wasn't paid. Anyway, we didn't end up winning that day. But fun story is I ran into this guy at a bar. No, it was at a party. It was at a random party I was at. And I ran into this guy and I said, mate, I know you from somewhere. And we're sitting there and he's like, oh, he goes, yeah, you're from the Siamese Dream Team. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, do you read the paper? He goes, no, I used to be your umpire. I'm like, all right, yeah. And anyway, he goes, oh, yeah, us guys, we were always rooting for you, but geez, you guys are bad. We're like, even with the umpire, letting some things slip and stuff, you still lost. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I swear this is the same guy who fucking didn't call my catch as well. I said to the guy, I said, well, mate, I'll make you a drink. And he's like, oh, no, I don't drink. I said, what do you mean? He says, oh, I'm allergic to beer. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll do spirits. You know, we can do. He's like, oh, I don't really drink spirits. I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, I don't mix it because I'm allergic to something that's in soft drink as well. I'm like, well, shots then. We're doing shots. Anyway, I got that bastard puking his guts up. I drank him under the table. Just as a little bit of payback for losing my toe and losing every single game of indoor cricket I ever played. But yeah, it was great. I still have we had like club shirts and shit as well. It was a great time. But that's the closest thing I've had to actually like winning anything at all, really. I think every sporting event has either been like third or less. Actually, no, you know what? And this is going to sound really sad, but it's true. I got second once in a Call of Duty Black Ops 2 LAN.
Oh.
Yeah, you would.
Oh, I remember you
check it
telling
out.
me about that.
Yeah, me and our Angel, who's now Trash Panda, and two other guys from the ZLB community. We went to it was a rural gaming league charity LAN, and they actually had a couple pro teams there, like Australian pro teams. So don't get too excited. And
Okay, I won't.
But we got second place, and we got a voucher as well, like a voucher to I think it was Game Traders or something like that. But we fought hard for that, and we got it. And that's the closest thing I've had to a trophy.
I have
Good on
like a wall, like half a wall full of just trophies from football, soccer,
Wow.
like all types of sports.
So what made you stop wanting to move?
What made me stop wanting to move?
Do you want to join an indoor
when
cricket
did
team?
when did you
I actually
How did
got
you become a
cricket
pretzel?
trophies.
when did you retreat into your bedroom and not come out? Like,
Just a lot of family issues as I was getting older. A lot of moving around and not being able to stick to one
oh
spot.
no,
for a long
I'm
period
not
of time.
interested in the why. I'm wondering when.
Oh,
How
when?
How long have you been stale?
I'd like to just ask one
How long
simple
have you
question.
been pale?
Like
I said stale, not pale, but that works too.
Oh, I was about to say, Chevy, aren't you pale?
probably 4 or 5 years now, close to.
Being a best in Tasmania isn't really being the best.
I stopped playing sport before I moved here.
Wait,
Yeah.
you're not originally from Tasmania?
No, I'm
Where are
from
you?
New South Wales.
Yeah.
Oh, that explains.
That's the
would you
rugby
clarify
thing.
this like 100 times?
Rugby's not a thing in Tasmania, though, is it? Like, they're not really.
It's a small thing.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
more
it's
AFL
equivalent,
down
same as it is like in Melbourne. Like, people talk about it, but really, that's not the sport they're about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I played soccer. I was very, very good at soccer, but I never won. Like, we always lost the games that actually mattered. But I remember I played really well, and I got pushed up like to the club above me, whatever. To the point where I was playing. I think I was like, I would have been like 13 at the time, and I was playing with 18-year-olds, and they just called me goalie because they didn't bother to learn my name because that's all I was good for, was being the goalie. And to the point where you'd see them down the shops, and they'll be like, "Hey, goalie, how's it going?" It's like,
Go.
yeah. And then I ended up playing. They called it like the Lightning Cup or something, and it's like a day tournament with all these different clubs from across the state. And I got fucking destroyed because I was a little freaking 13, 14-year-old getting smacked by 18-year-olds, and yeah, it was not a fun time. But never won anything that mattered, but definitely tried. Just, yeah, rough times, but that's fun. I'll get a trophy one day, I'm sure. I know growing up, because my old man he did cricket, obviously, but also shooting was a big thing for him. And he used to get a lot of trophies for that. And fishing. They had a fishing thing as well. Yeah, my old man was right into shooting and hunting, and duck shooting was a big thing for him as well
Nice.
when he was growing up. But he was very much a farm boy out bush. Anyway, I always remember seeing this trophy, which I think was like a wooden spoon trophy for maybe like a fishing competition or something like that. But it's a guy with his rifle up and against a tree, and then the rifle barrel goes around the tree, and it looks like it's shooting himself. And it's like the wooden spoon trophy. I always just remember seeing that as a kid, going, "Oh, that's a good trophy." Then when I was older, I'm like, "Hang on, that's a trophy saying he's an idiot." Like, shit.
That's a very Elmer Fudd trophy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's an Elmer Fudd trophy. It's brilliant. But yeah, I like my old man taught me how to shoot in general. We never really went shooting much. Took us out to the range once, so it was fun, and gave us some 22s and stuff like that. And we got to shoot. We took out a heap of old aerosol cans. So when
22s don't count.
no, but kids at the time.
Basically a BB gun.
Not everyone.
We
has
had BB
to
guns.
have
We were allowed to shoot the
rifles.
BB guns at home. The 22s we weren't allowed to shoot at home. But yeah, I think it's important, particularly. Well, it's not hugely important when you live in the city of Melbourne, but when you're a bush kid and you're around firearms and stuff like that, you need to understand that this is, what not to do.
Bush kid.
just general fucking gun safety.
Common sense.
But yeah, it was always a
You'd
thing.
be surprised at how uncommon common sense is.
It's extremely uncommon in my experience. But yeah, we had. I always remember that as much as my old man was the one that was in charge of, he was the man who shooted and hunted and whatever. If there was a snake in the presence of the house, like nearby or whatever, it was my mum and her shotgun that you would take care of those very quickly. Very quickly.
Hate snakes.
Yeah, I remember it was like I was literally sitting there playing. I think I was playing Nintendo 64, and out the window you just see the snake go past the window. I'm like, "Mom, snake!" and instant, like fucking is like trained for life. Guns out. Next thing you hear is bang. You just see this head of the snake go flying away. And it's like, oh, that's gone.
So the way we used to deal with snakes is we just shovel them.
I would never shovel a brown snake.
I've never had to fight a snake. I feel underprepared now. I'm gonna go find a snake and
Nope.
fight it.
No, don't do
Before I
that.
move into
No.
the city.
I
Why
mean,
not?
you could find a trouser snake.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Don't shovel that one either.
I remember I was walking way out in the bush once, and there's a few of us kids out there, and I stepped on a log and it like flicked up, and as it flicked up, underneath where the log was this massive brown snake. Now, at the local the local county fair, the show that we have up where I grew up, there was always a snake guy there, and he would show you all these different snakes and talk about snake safety and stuff. He's like, if you ever cross the path of a snake, stand perfectly still. Don't make any sudden movements, stuff like that. So anyway, in the split second in which I saw this snake and this log lifted up and I saw the snake, I broke the ground speed record for getting the fuck out of there.
Oh boy.
Like I my head goes, remember to stand perfectly still. I'm already 100 meters away. I'm gone.
It's
Off
like
the
that
scene.
meme. So I started running.
Well, it's I live in the country, but I've actually never had to come face to face with a snake. But lizards are another thing. I was constantly pulling.
If you see
Lizards
lizards,
out of
there's
the
snakes.
No, lizard like a big blue tongue lizard.
Yeah, if you see lizards active, there's snakes active. That's the rule.
Yeah, I guess I just haven't seen the snakes. They've probably seen me.
Growing up in the Blue Mountains, it's all bushland around there.
Yeah.
The amount of snakes and just random kangaroos you'd come across, no matter where you go.
Yeah, the latest where I grew up, it was always snakes, kangaroos was everywhere. That was a common, right? It was only recently that we start getting goannas, and that's a whole nother thing. That's a big ass lizard. What am I meant to do with this? And they just don't give a fuck, really. They just do whatever they want, and it's kind of okay. But yeah, foxes was another one. But I always remember snakes in particular. I've had just horrible experiences with snakes, and I remember. And when I say I remember this vividly, even though I was a tiny, tiny, tiny child at the time. I would have been 4 years old, 5 years old maybe. But I remember going down, we used to go down on the tractor with the trailer and go down to the bottom of our property where it's on edges onto National Park. And all the trees that have fallen down would collect firewood and stuff like that. And I remember we pulled up and I was getting there. I was sitting in the trailer and my brother, who would have been baby, was sitting in the back of the tractor. And my old man got off, and he was going to get my brother off the tractor, and I could just hear the sound, and I could see the tongue just flicking out of the grass right next to where my old man was standing, and it was a snake, and I yelled snake, snake, and my old man got on the tractor and he drove that thing as fast as he fucking could up to the house, and then he got our dog, it was Rocky, he was a golden Labrador, and got the shotgun, and he went barreling down the block to get rid of the snake. And and this is probably why I remember it so fondly. But in that process of all the chaos that was happening, the dog was action, got to defend the family. He's out there looking everywhere. Anything that moves, he's onto it. And then when they ran down there with the shotgun and everything else, and you hear fires going off and everything else. Obviously the old man destroyed the snake, but in the process, the dog got bitten as well, trying to protect the family. And I vividly remember my old man coming back with the family dog over his shoulder after getting bitten by the snake, protecting the family. And it's just shit like that he goes, that's when you joke about, hey, I want to fight a snake. It's you don't, because people die and pets die, and it's Mother Nature at its worst out there. So
Australia has some of the most deadliest snakes in the world.
yeah,
All over the place.
we had like snake calls, like basically a snake drill at primary school, because my primary school is across the road from where I actually live right now. And we're surrounded by bushland.
Yeah.
So we would get like, oh, there's a snake in like near the sand pit in like the primary school, like the junior year section. Everyone stay away. Like they'd put it over the loudspeaker. It was basically the equivalent of having like a fire alarm, but it was a snake alarm.
My
Have to go call the snake catcher.
my primary school,
Snake alarm.
obviously, like I'm a little bit older, so back when I was in primary school, it's like there's a snake out there. All right, we'll just don't go anywhere near it. Was pretty much what school was. They didn't really have the overperiod. But a funny story particularly from my primary school is because we were like it was in the bush. It used to have like a strip of just like national park, and then like there was a channel, like a man-made river behind it. Anyway, they were clipping all these massive palm trees that like surround the school, and they made a big pile of all the clippings and stuff like that. And then once it all dried out, they were going to light it on fire and burn it off like they would, normally. And they did that, except the pile was now full of rats. And when they lit it all on fire, it lit all the rats on fire. And then the rats ran up all the trees and lit all the trees on fire.
Oh my god.
It sounds like something I've seen before. I've seen like a clip of them lighting something on fire, and then a bunch of things just run out of it on fire.
On fire, yeah, it
on
happens
fire.
more than you think. But yeah, they burnt down all the trees they clipped. It was just, I just remember like rocking up to school and like, what happened?
This is completely off topic, but I think this guy that I'm playing in Magic right now has my Vanilla Lavender name beat. His name is Buttercheeks.
Buttercheeks.
That's just Ilati, if you've seen him on TikTok.
No, I'm Butterbeard.
Butterbeard.
That's a different thing.
It's like a complete change of topic, but like,
Does this
I
make
don't
you
know,
happy?
if our viewers have seen the stream or the TikTok of Ilati for charity screaming, "Is this what you wanted?" and rubbing butter into
You're
his beard.
welcome.
Which, mind you, since the last episode we recorded, I want to just point out that it came up on my mother's For You page, and she's seen it on TikTok again.
I'm famous.
Sorry,
Yeah.
speaking of that, hey, I'm recording a TikTok. I'm talking about you. I mean, podcast. No, I don't have it.
Oh.
I'm recording a podcast. She's run off. I was going to get a comment on it. Anyway, anyway, so she's seen that. She's seen that. I wasn't shouting. I was talking normally. It's just a good microphone.
Yeah.
And anyway, so what got me about that was just like, I have such a weird reaction to seeing things that are like mushy and goopy and gross, that like seeing the butter in your beard made me so grossed out. I felt like gagging, and I had to just run on camera and wipe your face aggressively with a paper towel.
We were talking about this last night. You were watching an achievement hunter thing, and you're like, "Why is Gavin gagging so much?" Because he has he gags at the most smallest gross thing, and like his big weakness, and it's known to the community, is wet bread. Like he gags at wet bread.
I understand.
So you gag at Butterbeard. That's what I'm hearing.
Bread. What's wrong with wet bread?
Butterbeard freaked me out a little.
I don't know what's wrong with wet bread. Wet bread seems fine.
Butterbeard was great.
Butterbeard.
Wet bread is like when you reach into a sink and like somebody threw like bread into the sink and it's filled with water, and then you have to pull mushy wet bread out of the drain. The water can. No.
Put it in your mouth.
Yeah,
No.
you put it in the microwave for 20 seconds.
But like,
and
if
then
it's
you
like
munch
bread
it.
and I've dipped the bread in soup, that's fine.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not. One is
It's the
soapy
same thing.
dishwater, and the
Soup
other
is
one
just
is
coloured
Yeah,
water.
just dip the bread in
Dishwater.
the soapy dishwater and then eat it. What's
Dirty
wrong?
dishwater is basically soup.
It's like the thing I read on Reddit just before. Which one is better, Bleach or Naruto? I've never used Naruto. Does it get your laundry white? It's just like, what?
I have a question. Is cereal a soup?
I mean,
No.
I would say yes.
I mean, to be a soup, right? It basically just requires a stock. I mean, would you consider milk the stock?
yeah, in that case, sure.
No.
Yeah.
And then
That's
you have
like-
Lucky Charms,
Milk
right? You
is
can
not a
have all the
stock though.
different colors.
Milk is an
Could be.
ingredient that comes out of the cow as milk. It's not like an ingredient you mix with something.
Oh.
A broth is like water
But then
mixed
hang on,
they
hang
with
mix stuff with the
salt.
milk to make milk.
There's no definition on soup as to what ingredients makes the soup.
But milk's
No, he
pasteurized,
said
it's watered
broth.
down. It could be a stock at that point, right?
Like
I
a
reckon.
stock. Like a
Do you want
stock
him
is
to
like...
heat up the milk? Is that what you're saying? Because he'll
No,
heat the milk
I'm
up.
saying that a stock
you can
is
heat the milk
water
up.
mixed with like a salt base and like, you know,
No,
I mean, you can have
flavor.
cereal with hot milk, yeah.
You can put salt in your
Just
cereal.
put vegetables in
Yeah,
your
why-
cereal.
If
Easy
it
Wait,
soup.
has-
wait, you don't put salt in your
If
cereal?
it has a stock base, then I consider it soup.
So basically what Shelby is saying is that cereal is a soup. Got it.
Got it.
No.
That's like I remember once I was visiting in a hospital. I was talking to a nurse, and he's like, "Oh, do you want me to get you anything for lunch? Maybe a salad or something like that." I said, "I don't make friends with salad." And he goes, "Oh, you're not a salad guy, more of a meat guy." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Have you had meat slaw?" I'm like, "What's that?" It's like in the same way that they make cold slaw from all these different, vegetables and whatever. You just make the same thing, but out of all these different meats. I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Interesting.
Isn't that just like
It's like a
salad?
HSP.
It's just meat on meat. Meat lovers salad? No.
Yeah, basically a meat lover
Meat
salad.
on
So
meat.
when you say I don't make friends with salad, I make friends with meat salad.
You make friends with Caesar salad with no vegetables and no
No,
sauce.
well,
so it's
instead
just
of
cheese and
instead of
bacon
having
in a
lettuce, you
bowl.
have bacon. Instead of having whatever carrot or something, you put fucking chicken and so on. That's how you make a meat slaw.
Wait, you don't have bacon bits with your salad?
I don't have salad.
Yeah, you have to have salad to have no bacon.
Does Shelby have bacon bits with her salad?
Yeah,
But you don't like bacon.
usually they're small and
Yeah,
diced up,
yeah,
and they're
what,
not like the.
what kind of
the-
communist ass shit is that? Don't like bacon.
I don't like the fatty pieces of bacon. I don't like the rind pieces of bacon. I'm just very specific and picky. I like the flavor of bacon. I like the bacon when it's cut specifically from the eye piece of the bacon fillets. But if I can see any fat or rind on it, I get grossed out.
We're back to the
Can't eat
grossed
it.
out thing. This is it.
Yeah.
So it's wet bread all over again.
The fat on the bacon's the best part, though.
She doesn't like fat
Ugh.
bacon.
Do you like? Let's. This might be a boomer thing, but have you had George Foreman bacon?
No.
Because that
They still make George
they
Foreman
still
grills.
make George. Yeah, but it's not huge in Australia. It's not. It didn't take off.
I think a good
It tried.
example of like how I feel about that kind of thing with meat is the other day I was offered roast pork and gravy rolls for dinner, and I was super excited because I love roasted meat
That baby
rolls
oil.
with
And it
gravy.
had the fatty bit in it.
And then so I went and I took a big bite out of it, and it was all stuck together with sinew and fat and disgusting. And like as I pulled it out, it like touched my face, and I almost vomited
Shelby,
in my mouth.
Do you know what a George Foreman grill is?
Yeah,
Yeah. So have you had like George Foreman?
no,
Stuff?
but that doesn't pull like the actual physical pieces of fat off the
It pretty
edges.
much does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it melts it
Still
and
there.
drains it out.
The texture
Yeah, it
is
sucks it
still
right down to
there.
the bottom.
Yeah.
Sucks
No,
it real good.
I have to trim it. The texture's still there.
Okay. Maybe we need to get an air fryer. Let's join the cult of air fryer.
Why do you keep
No,
getting against an
I
air
just think it's
fryer?
funny
The
that
air
there's a
fryers
cult.
are amazing.
There's a
They're good,
cultist.
but
We have
horrible.
one. We have a cultist here.
I
have an
prefer
air
a
fryer.
The
deep
air fryers, they're so convenient and fucking great.
I have an air fryer. I see their value. However, in our tiny, tiny little apartment, I don't think we should be getting an air fryer.
First off, air fryer and however, not in the same sentence, Shelby. All right, air fryers are great.
No, it's just
I
I know
agree.
they're great. They're
Yeah.
great. We don't have the space for an air fryer.
There was a but that was about to come
There's
there.
an
No
oven.
buts, no
There's an
howevers.
oven.
I can't believe we managed to
They're
bring
in the
this
There's
topic.
an air fryer.
I can't believe that we had a cultist right here on the podcast as I brought up the topic.
Just get rid of the oven and put an air fryer in. See?
Yeah,
That's what a
You-
cultist would
you-
say.
You know how many air fryers you can fit in place of that oven?
The air fryers are really small considering. And make
my
less of a
God.
mess.
There'd be so much room for activities.
Both us converting.
Look, all jokes aside, though, they are the most convenient thing when it comes to cooking. And Mister, I heat my meat pie up in the microwave. You would
air
love
fried meat pies. I've heard.
It still tastes better in the
it.
microwave.
You could take a bag of fries, throw it in the air fryer, done in 10 minutes.
You mean chips?
First off, listen, don't do this to me, Pratz. We're not going down this route.
How does it
okay?
go for
Why-
chicken burgers?
Okay, all right. This will be my last time on this podcast. I see.
I don't
But
know
see,
why people can't just be normal like Australia.
Oh my god,
Like-
Australia is the least normal fucking country in the world.
Okay, since we're doing this whole America versus Australia with different foods and stuff, let's get to one of my topics that I had with the 120 volt versus 240 volt, right?
Yep.
So we all know America runs on 120 volt for the most part. We're converting, but
They don't have a
slowly,
lot of
'cause
power. That's what I
because we
hear.
don't give a shit. There's no real reason to still have a lot of the country remaining using it, but they just don't give a shit, right?
Right.
So we get a lot of people at my work that come in and buy generators and ship them overseas to, like Africa and Mexico and Puerto Rico and a bunch of other places, especially when all that shit happened in Puerto Rico with the hurricane and whatnot.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we were so short on generators for months because of it. But this guy, he's trying to send one to Africa, and he gets mad at me because we don't sell the converter. And I was like, no, we don't sell it. He's like, well, why not? You should. And I was like, well, that's beside the point. Is we don't sell it. I'm sorry. And then he got an attitude with me, and I don't like when people talk to me in a certain way and with a certain tone. So I got an attitude back, and we just started arguing, and our tones were getting, more aggressive. But the point is that he got mad at me because we didn't sell it. And he's like, well, why don't you sell it? You should sell it. And I was like, well, first off, this country runs 120 volts, so like we don't actually need it, so that's why we don't sell it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He just got so mad at me, and it was for nothing I can do. And
I get the same thing where people come in like, oh, I need this particular converter. I'm like, okay, we don't have that. It's like, why not? It's like, well, you're the first person in my 15 years of service to fucking ask me for it. First of all, not normal people get that. And if I was opening a store, I'd recommend they didn't stock that because it'll never fucking sell because it takes 15 years for someone to come and actually ask for it.
Yeah.
But
just
sure,
order two.
it's our fault. Yeah. But
yeah.
And the thing is, and this is the thing, because we were up until recently, at least, and we still kind of are very independent, but we could do whatever the fuck we want, right? So if someone came in and said, "I want to have it so that I have an 80-volt converter," it's like, well, you'll never ever need that, but I'll get you one. I will order that in and I'll get you one. And then we'll chase up this little supplier and they're like, oh, you got to open an account with us. Fine, we'll open an account with you, do all this work, blah, blah, blah. And then they come back and then we'll go, all right, mate, we got your 80-volt supplier. It's going to cost you $189. You go, why so expensive? It's like, bruh, we just tracked down the one and only one we could find on the planet. And you were like, what? He goes, oh, I would have thought it'd be like $10. It's like, oh, no, it's not fucking happening. It's like, why? Ungrateful pieces of shit. Seriously. But anyway, it'd be easier if everyone just stuck to the same fucking thing, I suppose. Whatever. It's like the same thing where I picked up, cheap, mind you, I picked up a Sega Dreamcast, but it's NTSC. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. It just won't play, PAL games. It'll play NTSC. Like, no, it runs at 120 volts.
Oh, yes. Ship it to me.
I mean, at this point... So I was talking to some people about it, and they're like, "Oh, you got a working Dreamcast?" I'm like, "I do, but it's 120 volts." They're like, "Oh, those things are worth $400 to $600 straight up." And they're like, "But you need to get an adapter." Yeah. I'm like, "God damn!" So I'm like, I might just keep it and like sell the peripherals and pay for it. I only paid $100 for it, so.
I've been trying to sell those peripherals. They're listed on my Facebook account. And this just goes along with everything I've been saying this week with like trying to sell stuff on Facebook. People are unreliable as shit and also don't know how to read.
Facebook Marketplace.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
There's one or two things here, right? There's one or two things to be said. It's either Facebook Marketplace is just a horrible place to sell and buy things in general, right? It's a shit marketplace. Or everything Facebook does is somehow just kind of broken. Like everything it does is always like, why is this the way it is? This doesn't quite make sense. Like people now are complaining with Oculus that the latest update for Oculus actually puts ads into some of your games and your stuff. And it's like, well, why is it doing that? It's because Facebook's involved now. They're doing this weird shit, and it's just Facebook stuff. And I don't I go to like we have like Gumtree and stuff like that and sell things on that. And as much as I have stupid things there, it's like I have 100 stupid things on Facebook before I get one on Gumtree. And now I see the memes that come up on like TikTok all the time. It's like, this is selling something on Facebook in a nutshell. And it's the old guy sits there and he puts the thing for sale. And then the guy walks, he's like, is this available? And he goes, yes, it is. And then he turns around and the guy's gone already. It's like, okay.
I get that all the time.
All the time. And then here's something that I paid $500 for. I haven't barely used it for a couple of years. I've come to the conclusion I don't actually need it. I'm going to sell it $100. Just come pick it up. I don't even want to care about it. You get $400 off this great thing. And they'll come in and go, $50 you post? I'm like, I literally just said it's pickup only, and it's already $400 cheaper than it is. Or my favorite one is I had a Blue Yeti microphone, which I've used for 5 years. It's still perfectly fine. And I'm like, those things still retail from $250, $300. And I'm like, I'm going to sell it for $80. And this guy's, and I'm like, I'm not going to bother with the cables and stuff like that. If you see this and know that this is a good value, you're fine. You don't need the stand that is long gone because I use a boom arm or any of the cables. You'll have a mini USB cable. Bloke messaged me. He's like, where's the cables? I'm like, it's just a mini USB cable. There's nothing special. He's like, oh, so you take $50 because it's missing the cables? I'm like, no, I'll take $80 from the $300 because it's missing the cables. He's like, well, that's not that's not the point. It's missing the cables. I'm like, yeah, no, that's why it's not $300. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah. So I sent him a picture of it for sale for $300. I'm like, buy it with cables now. Go on. Fuck off, idiot. Why are you talking to me?
Thankfully,
People on
when I
Facebook are
sold
dumb.
that for you, I had a guy who he sent me a screenshot that he had bought a cable for it to prove he was serious about getting it before he came to pick it up.
I mean, in truthfulness, I have a box of probably 100 of those cables. I just don't want to give him a cable and they'd be like, the cable doesn't work. I'm like, anyway, the other one was the Elgato. I'm like, so the guy's like, I've got to come pick up this Elgato. I'm like, yeah, no worries, man. Just come pick it up. He's like, does it work well? I'm like, it's an Elgato. It either works or it doesn't. And it works. He's like, yeah, but how good does it work? I'm like, it works.
Does its job.
It's on. It's
Like
an off and on.
green.
He's like, yeah, but what kind of quality? I'm like, as in it works. As in it doesn't not work. What do you want from me?
Because it's the quality of the console that is outputting.
And then
input,
he's like, and he goes, can you come drop it off? I'm like, no, man. I said I don't drive. I'm like, you just come to my house. You know, I'm in the city. It's not hard. You can take public transport. And he's like, and then he picked like the furthest train station in my suburb. He's like, I'll meet you at the train station. I'll see you in 10. I'm like, no, just no. It's like, what is wrong with these people? And again, Elgatos go for $280 and I was selling it for $50.
I was trying to sell a $300 pair of Timberland boots, like the original wheat. So beautiful. I'd worn them once. Size 12, men's size, you know. So there was, it fits people, whatever. And I couldn't end up selling it. And I just got so mad that I just gave them to my brother.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with people. I was so sick of it. The only thing, and like I had a bunch of furniture the other day. And I was hauling it out the front of my house for people to take away for free. Put up a photo of, hey, free stuff at blah, blah, blah address. And people messaging me and going, hey, what's the measurements? Hey, can you help me put it in my car? Hey, can you hold it for me? Can you like make sure nobody else takes it?
I don't reply to him.
I put it on the street. You know, first come, first serve, no holds. I wrote no holds in the listing. I also wrote, we will not help you load it into your car because at that point I already dropped a bookcase on my foot. I'm not doing shit for them. It's free furniture.
Yep.
Have you ever offered to pay someone to take something you don't want
Oh,
anymore?
I've thought about it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
At the same
I've done
time, I live close enough in the city where you throw it out in the street, it's gone in 10 minutes
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
But
Thankfully, it did cause like a furniture frenzy out front of my house.
I don't think we talked about it in the podcast, but then when I went to sell my TV, my old TV, so I had a 42-inch LCD TV that I'd had for fucking 10 years. Still works. It's made by Philips, right? Philips don't even make TVs anymore. And I paid like $2,000 for it when I got it. And I'm like, I just need this thing gone. It's a huge ass TV. I don't need it anymore. $50. $50 for a 42-inch TV that works. Perfect, right? So many people sent like bullshit messages, and then I get one saying, "I'll take it." I'm like, "Sweet." I'm like, when can you come pick it up? Because I was moving out of my house, so it was literally just sitting in the hallway out the front of my apartment at this point. And they're like, "Well, come now." I'm like, "Excellent, so good." And then they rocked up and like they buzzed the apartment. I'm like, "Cool, I'm coming down." Bring the TV down out onto the street, and they go, "Oh, can we see it turned on?" And I'm like, I said, "I'm moving out of my house. There's nothing in my house currently. Like, I'm not going to take it back up and plug it back in." They're like, "Oh, well, we're not going to buy it if we can't see it turned on." I'm like, "Okay, wait here." Put the TV on the ground, and I'm like, go up, digging through all the boxes, looking for an extension cable. Got a lead, plug it in, running it down all the stairs, plug it in out the front, turns on. I'm like, look, turns on. I said, I was literally had this on earlier today, was just watching shit while I was packing the last of my boxes. It works fine. And they're like, "Oh, can we see it like playing a DVD or something?" And I went, "You know what? No, don't worry about it. Fuck off." Just unplugged it, grabbed the TV, and I started lugging it back up the stairs. I'm like, fuck off. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to find a DVD player and a DVD and plugging this in the street for $50 fucking. It's not worth my time. All right. At some point, you have to draw a line in the sand and say, you're wasting my time. I went upstairs and out of spite dropped the price of that TV to $20, and I just sat there huffing. I'm like, this is fucking wasting my day. I can't get rid of a TV. The TV's good. If I had room, I'd probably fucking keep it. And then this old bloke's like, "Oh, come pick up the TV." And I'm like, "Sweet, $20, let's go." And then I took it down and I literally handed him the remote and I handed him the TV. I said, "You're right with that?" And he gave me $20. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Has it got a remote?" And I said, "Yes, that's the device in your hand." And he's like, "Good. Yes, good." And then he took off, and I instantly took that $20, and I went and brought a kebab, and I ate it in anger. So I basically traded my $2,000 TV for a kebab, but that's fine. It's fine. That's closure. And then like 2 weeks later, he sends me a message going, "I didn't get the manual for the TV." And I just Googled the TV and wrote with the word manual, and I just sent that to him. I said, here's the Google link. And he said, thank you. And I thought, fuck. I don't have to think about this thing ever again.
Same kind of thing happened to me this week. I listed my TV, which I've only used like 5 times, and I put it on Facebook for $50. I bought it originally for $200, and I haven't used it, whatever. And it's not. It says clearly that it's just a TV. It's not a smart TV. Pick up only, no time wasters. Yeah, it's a dumb TV. These girls go, okay, we're coming to get it, right? And first of all, they're trying to get me to let them pick it up before 9 in the morning. No, I would like you to pick up in the evening. Anyway, whatever. So they come, and I'm handing them the TV, and they go, oh yeah, it's a smart TV, right? No, it's not a smart TV. I didn't write anywhere that it was a smart TV. It's just a TV. And then they go, oh, we don't want it then. I'm like, you need to, I said to them, I'm like, you need to learn to read. And then I just, so I took back my TV and I went inside. Out of spite, I went and sat down and dropped the price by half. So it's $25.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
The next day, I got a message from a woman who goes, hi, I want the TV. Can I come get it now? I'm like, sure. Here's my address. She came in 10 minutes, took the TV, gave me the money.
Hell yeah.
So, stood there talking for an awkward amount of time about very personal things going on in her life. But that was fine. The TV was gone. I was fine to have a chat with the person who actually took the TV, showed up on time, and gave me the money and knew what it was.
Did we talk about the Super Nintendo on the podcast? I don't think we did.
No.
So I wanted to get a Super Nintendo. It was my girlfriend at the time's favorite console, and I found one because they're pretty expensive to find, like working in decent condition. They're not bright yellow going off the plastic. Anyway, so this guy, he was dodgy to begin with, but geez, he was selling it cheap. It was $100 for a Super Nintendo and a game control, so it was like half the price. And he's like, pick it up. He's like, pick it up from my house. It's here. And I looked it up, and it was like the train tracks, this back alley, fucking so far away, so many suburbs away. It was a 45-minute hour drive. I'm like, okay. So I went there, parked in this back alley, and I sent him a message. He's like, I'm not home. What do you mean you're not home? I'm here to pick it up. He's like, I'm on my way home. Just don't go anywhere. I'm like, great. He's got me sitting in a back alley. I'm definitely going to get murdered. And after fucking 45 minutes of waiting, he turns up and he's like, oh, yeah, no worries, mate. Come in. And it turns out he's taking me to the back door of his house. He took me into his house that had like no furniture. And this back room just had a pile of Nintendo consoles games, just dumped in a big tip pile. He's like, anything you want, mate, just let me know. I'll make an offer. You can buy whatever you like. And I'm like, well, just pick up the Super Nintendo. He's like, I got some games and stuff. He's like, I'll scrooge you around a bit, so we'll do you a good deal if you want to grab a couple extra games. Sure, why not? Sounds good. So I ended up paying like $300, getting like a couple controllers. So anyway, I got home, plugged it all in, everything works. I'm happy. Before that, I was using I had a Hyperkin Superboy, which is like a handheld Super Nintendo. And I'm like, well, this one's NTSC. So I was using NTSC games. Now I've got a proper power one, the power game. So I'm like, I might as well sell this. So I went on Gumtree and I put the Superboy on there. And I'm like, I'll just try and get my $150 back. Anyway, I get a message immediately from some guy. He's like, oh, I want this. This is awesome. I'm like, yeah, sweet. I'm like, can you come pick it up? He's like, oh, I live pretty far away, but I'll come pick it up tomorrow. And I'm like, sweet. Oh, easy, man. We'll do it tomorrow. Sitting there, I said to him, I said, message me when you're here. I'll meet you out front. Get a message next day. Go downstairs. It's the guy I brought the Super Nintendo from. Turns out he wanted the Super Bowl. And he's like, this is where you live? I said, yeah, man, this is where I live. And he's like, man, you came a long way. We should have just like swapped or something. I'm like, fucking hell. What's the bloody chances? Anyway, he brought the Superboy off me, so we basically traded Nintendo. But yeah, I've had more luck with I guess more serious people than Facebook. I think Facebook, because it just rocks up in people's time like, ew, I'll message this person and then have no
never
respond.
respond.
I had a guy because with the Timberland shoes I mentioned, I dropped the price of them, and he messaged me after he'd already been fucking me around, and he goes, oh yeah, I'll take this. And I said, no, you won't. I said, it says no time wasters. You wasted my time. You do not get it at a discounted price. Goodbye. Look, I just
and then you gave it away out of spite.
Yes, I did. I could have made like $50 at least, but no. I used to go
through
it to family.
Particularly, not so much now, but like certainly go back like a year or two. It's like I'd buy a game on launch day, stream it, and make a heap of content and shit out of it, and then basically sell it 1 or 2 days later and get my money back. So like I buy it for $70, play it for 3 days, complete the game, sell it for $70. It's basically a free game. And I remember I brought I ordered Far Cry New Dawn from Amazon, and they delivered it 2 days early, 2 entire days. So I'm like, fuck yeah, early streams, let's go. And I streamed that for like 20 hours over the 2 days. Completed the entire game, got the platinum, and then I put it up on Gumtree the night before it was meant to come out. It's like for sale, Far Cry New Dawn, $70. And this guy's like, hell yeah, I'll come get it now. And I looked at my clock. I'm like, 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, mate, it's pretty late. You sure you want to grab it now? He's like, yeah, I'll grab it now. Fuck yeah. I'm like, all right. Guy came and picked it up at 1 a.m. and he's like, what? He goes, just out of curiosity, why are you selling it? I'm like, I finished it. He's like, it's only been out for an hour. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Just leaves the house confused, thinking you're just some sort of beast, and he just completes games that fast.
I mean, I completed that game pretty fucking fast, but that was a great game. I had a lot of people don't like Far Cry 5, but I had a lot of
5 was great.
Yeah, I thought it was. And I remember that because I did it, it's because it's completely co-op. So I roped old mate Dexter into coming and he's sort of my co-op man. I remember we did it all, and then we had one trophy left, which was the catch the biggest fish in each. And then we had one Sunday, we literally sat there fishing the entire day, and it was actually just a great day of fishing in a game, catching big ass fish and talking shit. So yeah, decent game. And it's a game you can pick up for like fuck all these days. So with playing, get co-op. Co-op makes it just so much more chaotic. With Far Cry 6, I might have to go rope Dexter to find out where he is.
6 looks really good from what I've seen online.
Yeah, and it's got Gus Frink in it. Breaking Bad days. Let's take a quick poll because I know Shelby's in it. Who here's watched Breaking Bad?
I watched it.
You watch it?
I have not.
I have not.
A long time ago, but yeah, I watched it.
Did you rate it?
Out of what?
Did you rate it? Did you recommend it? Because I watched it.
Yes
again.
and no.
I watched it again recently, and I feel like the good stuff is better, and the bad stuff is.
Yeah, I can see that.
But this is the general character. What do they call him?
Heisenberg.
That's it.
It was a great show, but I feel like they could have done a lot of things better. You know.
Yeah, there's some like I said, I watched it again recently. I only got through like 3. It's good. I like watching. That's the kind of show that I enjoy watching when I'm like trying to think of like a character or something. That's the kind of show I like watching. I either
Jesse
watch
Pinkman.
Yeah, but the thing is that all the characters that are in there, they're all basically stereotypes, and they're both basically exaggerated, right? So you've got the old ex, don't really know if he's ex-army or what he is, but he's like the fixer, right? And they call him and he fixes the problems and he has the answer for everything. Cool character. You have the dodgy lawyer who's fucking taking money on the side and ripping everyone off. Fantastic character. You know, then you've got Jesse Pinkman, who's the fucking he's just like the dumbest guy who has the best luck or the worst luck, depending on how you look at it. You know, it's like they're such great character, and it's a great way to go look at character. It's a good one. I think that was last time I was when I think it might have been just before Bliss up here. Character inspiration.
I think how what was the weirdest part of it was how this guy who was just a science teacher and finds out he has cancer, and then all of a sudden he becomes this fucking kingpin for meth. Yeah,
but the thing is, it's believable because of the way it goes. Like, because the whole thing is he's a science teacher, and then he figures out that he can use and then he finds people making meth, and he's like, you guys are shit at making meth. It's like, this is how you make meth. I'm a science teacher. I know how to make meth. And then they're like,
could do this way better.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, you do it so good, you could be rich. He's like, I could be rich. I'm dying. I need money. This is great. And away they go. That's the whole story. That's like, it's
New
believable.
Story arc for ORP 2.0. I'm just gonna be a scientist and knows how to cook meth.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the crystal blue meth or whatever. It's crystal blue. That's what
yeah.
Fuck, is a good show. I'm gonna watch it. Fuck it. You know, have you watched Better Call Saul?
I've seen parts of it, but I haven't actually sat down and watched it.
Better Call Saul is like. It's like how so Breaking Bad's like a holy shit roller coaster, right?
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Better Call Saul is like a holy shit, how could this be more? This is how you fuck someone in the head slowly and painfully show. And I'm up to date. No, actually no, I haven't watched the last season. But by the end of season 3, I'm just like angry. Like, I physically feel angry. And as a show, it shows that it's a great show. It's well written. It's getting to you, right? But I was angry for days. I'm just like, fuck these fucking assholes. It's a fictional character, but he gets fucked over in such a way by like people that you're meant to like and stuff like that. And like, and I'm just physically angry for days for that show. And I both, that makes me happy because the show's so good, but also makes me so angry because I'm like, this is not what I want. This is not what I want to happen. It's bad. But yeah, it's a fucking great show if you want to fucking hate yourself. It's a great show.
He is the dodgy lawyer of all dodgy lawyers.
But it's like, the thing is that in Breaking Bad, Saul's like, he's the lovable larrikin basically, but he's also backstabbing and cheating and lying to everyone. And at the same time, making money, but somehow losing money. And it's like, how's this guy even in business? And what the fuck's this guy's deal? It's kind of the whole thing. But his answer to everything, he's like, don't worry about it. It's under control. Just do it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then when you watch Better Call Saul, it's like, wow, this guy was a really, really decent human being. How did they fuck him over to the point where he just didn't trust it? Oh, that's how. Okay. It's like,
Got
Jesus. So it's a good show. But I just love the characters is what makes it. And Breaking Bad. I think a lot of people still one of the better shows. A lot of people went.
It was a really good show. There were just a lot of parts that
A
didn't
lot of
really
people
like.
went, and it's funny because it aged so well that people were like, wow, Breaking Bad was the best show until Game of Thrones came along. And it's like, oh, really? Yeah. And then they get to the end of Game of Thrones, like, Game of Thrones is shit. It's like, really?
I've never watched it.
I've seen like 2 episodes of Game of Thrones.
I watched all of it and it was disappointing.
I loved it. I thought I understand why people are upset with the ending, but it's like, I think the reason why the books haven't finished yet is because they're still figuring out the ending. The TV show overtook and wrote their.
I expect if and when we get a final book, the ending will be different.
Yeah, well, you know what George has been doing, right?
Vibing.
Elder Ring is the new game.
Yeah.
R.R. Martin. He set that world up and did that.
He's a busy boy, and he's not getting any younger.
I saw the memes everywhere. It's like Elder Ring, and then it comes up with George R.R. Martin. It's like, oh, that's never coming out. But I thought, like, and I think we talked about Game of Thrones was like, as a TV show, if you're at all a fan of like that medieval times and even just drama in general, it's fantastic. It's a really great watch. And it like the problem with that show was it was consistently pumping out 9s and 10 per episode. So then when they hit an 8, everyone's like, oh, you dropped the ball. What are you doing? It's like, that's still a fucking 8 out of 10. Like, that's still a great episode. I mean, have you watched Big Bang Theory? That's just
oh god,
it's a great show.
Well, that show All Out is just a 4, but somehow it's good enough that it's a good 4.
It's idiot box.
Excuse me?
You could watch it.
Yeah,
you can watch it and it's not offensive. That's why Big Bang Theory.
It's nerds for idiots. Like it's like, you know, this how the standard person sees people like us, to be honest.
My thing is, you could sit down and have Big Bang Theory on the TV and you just find yourself watching it and not caring for hours, and that's fine. And that's all they want you to do because they want you to watch the ads. And so that's why that show lasts. But in terms of like fucking going back to Game of Thrones, it's still worth watching. And if you literally go, oh, shit, I've got nothing to watch, where's my big show that I'm going to watch weekly or whatever, then Game of Thrones is great to watch. It's pretty hectic, but all the actors as well, it's just great for going, wow, look at all these actors that I've seen in all these other shows and stuff like that, because they literally have everyone in there because the cast is enormous. But yeah, I feel like they dropped the ball at the end of the show. And then everyone went, oh, Breaking Bad's better. That's a better show. You know, Game of Thrones is shit. And then everyone who hadn't seen Game of Thrones yet, it's like, Game of Thrones is shit. I'm not going to watch it. Like, I recently convinced my parents to watch Game of Thrones, and they sat down and watched it all. And they went, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm sure they don't understand the greater conspiracies of, oh, well, this person here is actually the son of that person who couldn't do it because he was in lineage to this person.
And like, that guy looks like Ed Sheeran.
Like there's more law than law. There's the episode goes for the hour and the breakdown goes for 6 hours, you know? And
I know is the winter is coming. That's about it.
Winter comes, all right? That's the whole fucking point of the show. It's because now they're going into the lore and they're making their spin-off shows, so it'll come back and then people go back and watch Game of Thrones. I think it's probably actually a show that's going to get better with age anyway, because it was definitely ahead of its time. And if you play the Game of Thrones had a Telltale game, which was canon, and if you play that adds to the lore again, and it's just like, it's so much to it. It's a whole world and stuff, but it's a fucking great show. But in terms of like me recommending it to my parents, it's like, you have to watch it all or you're not going to get the most out of it, because you're not going to know what the fuck happening until like season 5 anyway. And even then they're setting up shit that you're not going to know until season 8 anyway, you know, so you have to watch it all. Where at least with them, I could say you could watch a season of Breaking Bad and know what's going on, because it's stuff that we all understand. There's no Targaryen Knight of the Dark Realm or anything like that. There's none of that shit. Where
not a great big character build up.
Yeah, you know what's going on from day one. Then you just strap in for the ride along. That's basically from there. And it's like another great show that I thought was great, but it hasn't really aged really well, is Dexter. I used to watch Dexter and used to like Dexter quite a lot. And
that's the one where he's like a
He's
a
a
cop, but
forensic.
he's also a serial killer.
He's a forensic who in blood splatter analysis, but he's also like if the bad guy gets away, like gets off on a technicality or whatever, he'll just go and murder him, and he knows how to clean up after himself and dispose of the body so he never get caught. That was his whole thing. So he was like the anti, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Anyway, that show goes through. It's a great show to break down because it's like, wow, we've got this great plot narrative. And let's keep with this. And then everyone's like, yeah, this show's great. I love it. Blah, blah, blah. And then they literally shoot themselves in the foot about 6 times in that show. I think the first time is because there's always a big baddie, like a serial killer that he's always chasing. But in each episode, he'll kill a low-time criminal to sort of keep it. So there's like a reoccurring theme, blah, blah, blah. And then I think straight up season 2, he's the big bad guy and they're all chasing him. But then he manages to get out of it. And that's fine. It's like, okay, fine. And then they do this whole thing where he's in love with his sister, and then like his sister knows that he's a killer, and then he ends up killing. It's like they shoot themselves in the foot with a fork. Anyway, it all wrapped up, it all finished, and it's like, oh, it was a good watch, it was a good thing. Yeah, there's a couple things wrong with it, whatever. Bringing it back, they're rebooting it, and they're just going to keep going with that story. And they're like, why though? It didn't really finish the way we liked it. We're kind of done with it. And here, nearly 10 years later, we're like, we're going to do another season. Okay, I guess you guys are really out of new. Like that was
Probably still a hardcore fan base for it.
There is, but it's not big enough. Like I won't watch it. I'm done with that. Like I'm done. We finished. We're good. And it's not a show that you go back and watch again. Like I might go back and watch Game of Thrones again because shit, it's knights beating the crap out of each other and dragons. Cool as hell.
Yeah.
And fucking like Breaking Bad's, it's fucking drug dealers, cops and robbers. It's fucking cool as hell. It's whatever. Where it's the Dexter is the deteriorating state of a mental guy with mental trauma who ends up killing people and cleaning up and getting away with it. It's kind of a
one and done show.
it's kind of a you don't really watch it for fun by the end of it. You just want to know how it ends. But Game of Thrones is good. I stand by that. I say it's a show. I think it's at Amazon that's making the Lord of the Rings TV show. That's like they're churning through money. It's like $1 million plus an episode.
I forgot that was coming out.
Like I can't see us going back to Lord of the Rings now and being okay with it.
How many years has it been since they released the last Lord of the Rings? Yeah.
But it's like, again, they're digging it up. It's a fossil at this point. But and their movies still hold up. They are what they are. It's just I don't think they're going to do it. They just want to get that game. So I think people were done with Game of Thrones as well. So we're talking about shows that are more current, more relevant. And I know that I'm probably the only one here that's been watching it so far, but Loki is a great piece of Marvel TV going. It spawned off a lot of great theories as well as to where they're going, but it feels like, and the 2 episodes out so far, but it does feel a lot like a Doctor Who kind of style show. I guess it's got that kind of weird sci-fi kind of bend to it, which is interesting.
Yet to finish watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
so
let alone start watching Loki.
Well, I made the tweet today, and the other day, and I actually got a fair bit of comments and stuff on it, which was that I feel like Loki is better than WandaVision, and as much as WandaVision was better than Winter Soldier. And I love Winter Soldier, and I love the action in it. And Winter Soldier pays off in its last episode. As a whole, it's a great show. I watched half of it, probably not so much. It's pretty much it's a hot mess at that point. And there's a lot of reasons, a lot of production. It doesn't matter because when you get the Loki, it's the opposite. It's smooth as butter. It's really well made together. Well put together. There's no production mess. There's nothing like that. Owen Wilson is actually a great fucking character to have in it. But it's good. It's a lot of fun. And I feel like people that even don't know the greater lore will have a lot of fun sort of watching it and stuff like that. And it's not spoilers, but I did see today that it's blowing up. There's an element of time travel in the show, and they go to the year 2050, and they're in a shopping center, and these guys are pointing out that all the shit that are on the shelves shouldn't be there for the year 2050, and they're like, there's a PS4 charger in 2050? That's not meant to be there. It's like, fucking hell, man. Now they're meant to know what's going to be there in the year 2050. But yeah, it's good television. It's not... I think in terms of shows that I've watched lately, I mean, Shelby just finished it.
I did, yeah.
And how good was it?
I heard that was really good.
Once the ball really got rolling and I hit like episode 4, I binge watched the rest really quickly.
So it's a show where you go, this is just like a cartoon. And then it starts to like give you like hints of this isn't really a cartoon. And then there's literally a point where it goes, you thought this was a fucking cartoon and not a cartoon. And it just takes a big steaming dump on your chest and say, here, look at this, and you go, wow, that's
Still
impressive.
yet to watch it.
It's good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Definitely advise people watch it. I was surprised by how much I liked it.
My favorite part, and there's no spoilers or anything, but like at the very end of the whole thing, it does a like normally, you know, a show finishes, you go, everyone gives each other a pat in the back or whatever, and then the credits roll. And it sort of does that in this, but then it has like a montage of all the loose ends left over from the show, and they're like, you think it's over? Fucking remember these guys? Remember that guy? Remember this thing? Remember that? Remember this? And it goes on for ages, and I'm like, holy shit, there's some fucking loose ends. And then they're like, season 2's coming, and 3. Well, they already got 2 seasons for it, but surprisingly very adult, very grounded TV show for what looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. But
You're right.
yeah, honestly, I'm recommending it a lot lately because it's an easy, like it's like you can watch it in a day, easy.
The episodes are long, but it feels like a breeze.
Yeah,
How long is long?
like 45 minutes an hour, depending on it.
Easy.
It's but 8 episodes, so 8 hours max. Way to
Yeah.
go. And and it's just super good. And particularly, the last half of the show flows through very quick. Good job of it. But from that, I think from like shows that I've watched, like Invincible is a cartoon, so it's hard to go, hey mum, watch this cartoon, because you go, cartoon, this is more of that weeb shit, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's not.
In it, farm.
She'd sit there and be like, what are you watching? Why are they not speaking English? I'm like, don't worry about it.
Just read the subs.
It's even dubbed. It's just the fucking intro has a bit of weeb in it. You know, anyway. But it's so to say to someone a little bit older to say, hey, go watch this cartoon. It's brilliant. It's a hard sell, but go watch this cartoon. It is actually. And but I think we're apart from obviously Marvel doing their big budget shit, and there's not a lot of other TV shows that I've watched lately where I go, this is amazing. And once I started watching it, I couldn't stop watching it. Maybe The Boys, I watched that and didn't stop watching. Like as soon as I turned it off, I'm like, I kind of want to watch that more. I'll watch another, turn it back on. It's just the next thing you know,
Lately for me, it's I start watching an anime. It gets like close to episode 10, 11, 12. It ends at 12. It's on a really good path. No season 2 announced, nothing.
Yeah, there's a bit of that.
5 years later.
That's why, particularly with anime stuff, it's like people you always ask. It's like, okay, cool. How long is it? Is there a second season and stuff like that? Like a lot of when Shelby was asking me about anime, I'm like, this one is only 1 season. It's all wrapped up. It's done in 1. You know, let's go.
Yeah,
Which is what I need, because I don't have the attention span
But then
to
it's
watch
like-
Goku stare at somebody for 3 episodes in a row.
Like you started watching Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul's a great example where it goes for 2 seasons and then you can leave. Then that's like there's a door there that says you can leave, or then there's another 2 seasons and then there's another door. It's like if you go past that first door, you have to stay for 2 more seasons, or you're not going to know what's happening.
Whereas you got shows like Overlord, where season 1 is horrible and you don't want to continue watching it. But season 2 it picks up, and season 3 is just really good.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people would be telling me to go back to JoJo's because I only watched like a bit of season 1 when it first came out. I'm like, it's kind of not my jam. And then they're like, no, but season 1's not great. You go season 2, it's brilliant. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't make it through season 1. You know, am I going to make it to season 2? But that's kind of like anime though. Like I feel like you see it a lot in like Sword Art's a great example. Like the first season is a bit of a mess, but it sets
The first half of the first season is great.
But it's like they set up all this lore and everything like that, and then now when you get to their latest season, it's like, well, we're not going to make the mistake of rushing through it in 12 episodes. So here's 60. It's like, all right.
Yeah. The first half of season 1, the Ironclad arc was great. After that was weird. Phantom Bullet was kind of just a waste of space. It made sense lore-wise, but there was nothing really going for it.
There's a GGO spin-off.
Yeah.
So it's quite good. And it's just they just delve deeper into that whole lore. But the thing is that particularly those seasons is they're very quickly done through. And that's where I can't remember what the next one is. Is it Progressive? I think it's Progressive, which is a retelling of the first season. Because after the season, after Sword Art blew up, they're like, yeah, we probably should have spent more time in Ironclad. So then they started writing it another perspective of the first Ironclad, and that's now turning into an anime as well. Which is going to start with a movie.
It comes out I believe they announced October or
Yeah, I think
September
it's- I
was
think-
the release a progressive one.
Yeah, that's about when like the new season, the best. Speaking of great
Yeah.
anime and the particularly the movie stuff, the Demon Slayer movie comes out on DVD next week. Or gets home released, simulcast and all that sort of stuff. And that movie is like made so much money now, kind of stupid. Like it's never gonna. There's no anime movie that's gonna make that much. And
July 30th. Sorry.
July 30th.
Talking about like shows with like one season and two, I was looking up to see when the new Outer Banks season came out. It's coming out on July 30th.
What's
So
Outer
excited.
Banks?
So Outer Banks is it's like a city in North Carolina. It's a really popular like vacation place. Like
Okay.
picture like like the West Coast has a lot of beaches.
Yeah.
Well, it's like one of the top beaches on the East Coast. Like there's a lot of stuff there. But it's mostly a vacation spot, but there's also like people that live there all the time. But the whole show is based around the best way I can describe it is like modern day Goonies.
Ooh. Okay.
So like there's a group of kids that live there. They're all like misfits, but
And
they
they're on
all
a bit
fit
of an
together.
adventure.
Yeah, and they separate the Outer Banks by two places, like people like them who are poor, and then like the rich people, and then you have
okay.
like the out of towners, the people that are there just on vacation. And it's a really good show, and I would suggest checking it out honestly. And another season's coming at the end of July.
Okay,
It's pretty good.
So what's it called? Outer Banks.
Yeah, I wish I had more episodes in the first season, but it was pretty good.
Yeah. So I just looked up the Demon Slayer movie box office just crossed over 500.
Or is it
Yeah,
South
it's-
Carolina. I think it's South Carolina.
So,
Sorry.
I got to piss someone off in this process. So number one movie, 500 million US, hasn't even come out in home. It's just from
500
cinema.
million? That's nothing.
That's huge for animated. Anime.
A lot of fucking money.
So coming in second, the ancient but fantastic movie Spirited Away at 383 million US, which is
That's like 14 quadrillion over there.
it is a lot. So, but so
Love it,
Demon
man.
Slayer's been smashing it. Spirited Away was always like a critically acclaimed cult following, massive. It did really well, but had a long tail. So it's all through the years and years and years of people buying copies. And then after that, you got Your Name at 357 million, which is a spectacular movie. It's basically a Freaky Friday style story where people have changed bodies. There's a whole thing to it. It's very, very good. If you ever watch it, very sad. Great. Take the missus on a date night and get her all teared up watching it. Fantastic. Very, very pretty as well. But 357 million, and that went well in like cinemas and stuff like that. But so Your Name, so almost every anime you can think of, you name it, My Hero, Sword Art, all those sort of, they're all being purchased by US companies like Netflix to make live action versions, right? So Your Name, they're smashing ahead with the pre-production on this, and they're turning it. So if anyone's ever watched Your Name, it's basically a kid in the city who switches their soul with another kid who's in the country, and then they start talking to each other and living through each other's bodies, stuff like that, and eventually gonna meet, and a whole love story and all that. So that's fine. So it's like traditional Japan versus modern Japan, and the mirroring of it. So the Your Name that they're making in America, they've changed it. Now it's going to be a native Indian versus basically a Californian. They're going to switch, and it's like
It just sounds like it's gonna be horrible.
it sounds so bad straight away.
Yeah, like just based off that description, it just sounds like it's gonna do really poorly, and people are gonna hate it because they're changing the
They're
core
changing
story.
so much, but
Yeah.
but then they're trying to make it. I hope they're trying not to make it too cool, but it definitely sounds like they're going on. So it sounds horrible. It's a fantastic movie. It doesn't need a live action remake. It's like painted art, fantastic graphic. The way that it just fucking looks like people have taken like stills from the movie and taking photos of the same spot, and they look amazing. What they've done. So why they want to make it into live action, I don't know. But I can't wait for the live action My Hero Academia. That's going to be amazing.
That will be interesting.
We want Dwayne the Rock Johnson as
Oh,
All Might. It's gonna happen. Unfortunately, it's gonna happen.
Like making something live action is one thing, but changing its core story is a completely different thing.
Well, Attack on Titan's live action, so they've made a live action one of that, and apparently they have changed a lot of the mains.
I'm gonna watch the last movie
I
they
did
put
too.
out. for that.
I want to watch it all. I started watching it all again. Like got into season like, whew, this is so much fun, and then I just end up just procrastinating doing it.
I
But,
keep forgetting about it. Like I'll watch a couple of episodes,
but I
and
feel
then
like
I just
I feel
watch
like
something else for a bit.
once it's finished, like it's done, then I'll just pick it up and watch it. As the
Yeah,
anime's still got a bit to go.
I
I think.
believe the second part of the end season comes out at the end of the year.
Yeah. But anyone who's thinking, oh, it's not that bad. I don't want to watch cartoons and I want to watch the live action version of everything. Go watch Dragon Ball Evolution and then come back and tell me how much live action is a great idea.
But Dragon Ball is a cartoon.
Yes, but look at have you watched Dragon Ball Evolution?
I haven't watched Dragon Ball past the first season.
Have you seen it? Go watch Evolution. It's great. It's absolutely
I will
great.
have a look at it.
Who here has watched Dragon Ball? No one? Excellent. We should do a watch party. It's like there's garbage, and then there's hot garbage, and then there's flaming hot garbage, and then there's the sort of garbage that you get sick by being in vicinity. And this is worse than all that. It's just
Sounds like a great time.
oh, it's like you have no. Let's save the Dragon Ball Evolution chat for we'll do another podcast. We'll get TeamOCE in here, absolute Dragon Ball nut, and we'll just without saying anything, we'll just tell him how great we think the movie is, and just he'll leave.
I want to be there for that.
He'll just fucking probably.
Why would you leave? Is it because you hate yourself? Shit.
Mate, if you watch this show and you like it, then you hate yourself. All right?
Wait, what show? Are we talking about anime still?
No, we're talking about Dragon Ball Evolution,
Oh, is that like the live action?
the live action.
Oh.
It has currently got a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
Yeah, I think the most notable thing is James Masters, who plays Spike on Buffy, plays Piccolo.
I think we should make it a goal as like a group to watch the worst rated movies from Rotten Tomatoes
I don't know.
and just do a review on them.
What's the worst movie? I just typed in epic movie. I've seen epic movie and disaster movie. They're horrible movies.
Worst movies of all times.
But yeah, Dragon Ball Evolution would definitely. Jack and Jill, that's an Adam Sandler movie. That was horrible. Movie 43 was a horrible movie that even the cast said were horrible. But wow. 2019's Cats is in there. Is one of the worst movies of all time. Bruh, that's
I
probably.
can't watch that movie. It'll make me uncomfortable because it's so uncanny valley. I don't like it, and I think as well we can't watch that movie with TeamOCE. Some things might happen.
Oh, God damn it.
Holy shit! Well done. That's I went and saw Cats, like the theater show. It's Uncanny Valley then, like before they made human faces on the cat face. What is it? How do they even do it? I don't even know.
Superimpose human faces on cat hair bodies. Yeah.
Anyone just, you know what? I was just gonna say, didn't someone made like remade the Cats trailer to add cats' assholes?
What?
Oh no, that wasn't it. There is actually a cut of the movie that exists that is made by the people. It's an official cut of the movie that they have cat buttholes. But then they decided in post-production, maybe we shouldn't have everyone's cat buttholes on screen. But then they censored it, so now there's not cat buttholes. So somewhere in the world, on somebody's hard drive somewhere who worked on the movie, there is a version of Cats with cat buttholes. You're welcome for that knowledge.
Thank you.
Right. I think that's probably a good time. We're sort of out of time here. That's a good place to end on this podcast. I've definitely got to put the Cats with buttholes cut of Cats on my list of horrible cuts of movies I want to see. It's right next to the original Sonic, the movie cut with the original animation before they fixed everything.
Oh god!
I want to see that cut so bad. I just want to know who thought that was a good idea. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. But yeah, so let's call it here for today. It's been a great episode. Very chill Sunday afternoon podcast. And we'll start with a few plugs. Let's start with Shelby.
Hi. You can find me on ShellBunny_ on Twitter, or you can find me at ShellBunny on Twitch or ShellBunny94 on TikTok. Content should kick back up soon as I'm moving in 6 days' time.
Excellent. And Pratz?
You can find me at Twitter, xpratz_, at twitch.tv/xpratz, although I rarely stream. And I might start uploading the TikTok. You can find me at xpratz.
It's just xpratz.
Yeah, just xpratz.
Holy shit! I was waiting for the underscore or something, and I'm like, what the fuck?
So if you're the ex-Pratz, who's the current Pratz?
Boom, got him.
Also me.
Oh, that's quite the strange turn of events.
And Northstar.
Just Northstar on Twitch, no underscores, because we hate that. And Northstar TV everywhere else, because I'm not a weirdo that has 17 different social handles.
Fuck oath. And obviously the ZLB Podcast has its own Twitter. You should be following. Best place to find out when stuff happens. Yeah, you know where I am and stuff like that. But let's one last thing before we disappear. I just wanted to point out that it is sort of the end of coming towards the end of June for us, and that means the end of our Stream Raisers campaign. As much as there's been butter consumed and soy sauce condensed milk poured on your heads.
Soy sauce condensed milk. Okay.
Yep, that's right.
And cinnamon tricked on.
All the stuff, all the stupid stuff that people have done on the internet that was there forever, that everyone could always see for your life, so you can never be president, or you can because it doesn't really matter. The ZLB crew did raise $2,000 for sick children, which is a big amount. Seeing we only wanted to make 1,000. Well, didn't want to make. We set a target of 1,000. So well done to everyone who's listening who may have donated, chipped in, seen, or even just hanged out in the streams or gave us stupid ideas. Basically gain attention so we can get extra money. But that's it's a decent effort. And even the Starlight Foundation, which is the money is going towards, it gives children who are in long stays in hospital, you know, a bit of happiness to make their days a little bit easier. They even saw my butter video and liked it. So I feel great that a charity organization is condoning my actions of eating an entire block of butter while dressed as. But thanks to everybody who has been listening, has been tuning into everyone's streams and helping out. It's better.
Before we go, I just have one thing to say. So I will be hosting the Arenas tournament for Apex, and I promised Frog that if his team places first, then I will pour a can of beans over the top of my head.
Let's go.
All right. Well, there you go. Well, now that you've said it, and again, it's on the internet. There's no backing out. It's there.
No, I'm man of my word.
It's
can of beans.
Can of beans. There you go.
I will not watch because beans make me uncomfortable.
Beans.
Well,
the
but good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you fart. Just don't do it on stream.
That is a separate meta. We're not going down that track. Thanks for listening, everybody. And make sure you follow, like, comment, share, all the different cool stuff on the podcast, whatever. Just have a great time. And we'll see you all next week. Goodbye.